Hello guys, Robert1 here, coming at you with a new Yu-Gi-Oh video. And in today's Yu-Gi-Oh video, we are going to be talking about my August ban list predictions. Seeing as the month of August is coming ever closer and closer, and we know that at some point in August or the month after September, we are going to get a ban list. And I was thinking, seeing as we're getting so close to this period of time, it was time for me to do a ban list prediction. So, without further ado, let's get into this, because ban list predictions are one of the best things about doing Yu-Gi-Oh, because it's giving your opinion out there to see what you can potentially guess. And you know, if you get anything right, you're allowed to say to the people over there, "Hey, hey, I told you so, I was right." And it's just something really fun to do. So without further ado, let's get into my August ban list predictions, because I like doing ban list prediction videos. It's fun. Ruby, they're signed by the cast. I love Rooster Teeth. They're a great thing. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into this ban list prediction. So, starting off with ban cards. I only have two cards that I think are going to get banned. I don't really think anything outside of these will get banned, because there's no real reason for them to. Reason for cards that used to get banned. But for this game to be a bit more balanced, Konami need to ban these two cards. So, the first one is Trickstar Lycoris. Now, with the new time rules, Trickstars have become an increasingly big problem. Being that, all I have to do is normal summon this card, and then I win the game. In the time rules. Because you could be like, we've got not even 5, maybe 15 seconds on the clock. You normal summon Lycoris, and then you pass. Your opponent instantly draws a card. They've got less than 10 seconds, most likely, to get into their battle phase and summon a card. And then they lose because of the time rules. And Lycoris is one of these cards that gives us that problem. Now, it's not only just because of this. It's not only just because, like, the new time rules. It's also because this is the main card in Trickstars. Sure, it's the card that gets... It's not the card that does all the searching and stuff, but when you think about it, this is the main card in Trickstars for burn. Being that this card single-handedly can cause about... I believe you can game your opponent with 2 Lycoris and 2 Reincarnation. I might be wrong on that. Maybe it's 3, but I believe if you have the 2 Reincarnation and Lycoris, you can pretty much game your opponent, as long as you have the light stage up as well, of course. And seeing as Lycoris is one of the reasons some of these burn game things exist, Lycoris seems to be one of the cards that needs to be gone. Plus the fact that it gives you the utility to just keep summoning it out and access to the Fireball loop in the deck. It's one of those cards that just needs to be banned to sort of like balance Trickstars and make the new time procedures a lot more fairer. And so without this card in the game, I feel like you would make the deck a lot more fair. I feel like Trickstars, sure, they won't be broken anymore, they won't be as powerful and they won't be as good, but they'll lose the potential to continuously burn your opponent, which is something that Lycoris single-handedly does on its own, and can easily, the majority of the time, deal your opponent about 4k damage at least, which is really annoying. But yeah, I feel like Lycoris should be banned for those reasons, and it makes sense for her to be banned. So yeah, Lycoris banned. I feel like strongly she will be banned by Konami. Next. Another card that should be banned, and Konami will hopefully ban, and I know that there's reasons why this won't be banned, but if Konami are smart, they will ban this, and that is Firewall Dragon. You guys are probably thinking, Firewall Dragon? That's Yusaku's boss monster. They won't hit that. Nah, they won't hit that at all. Nah, they'll leave it till the actual anime that airs in the UK, well, the English and everything, and then maybe after the anime they'll hit. Well, sure they might hit after that, but hear me out, guys. Something about Yusaku's character that I've got to mention in this video is Yusaku's got a lot of other boss monsters. He's got the Clock Dragon, he's got the Ritual one, he's got Decode Talker, Encode Talker, Transcode Talker. He's got so many monsters that he summons more than he summons the Firewall Dragon, that I'm sure they'll be fine with banning Firewall Dragon. Now, I know this doesn't always make sense because obviously banning a main protagonist card is not very unlikely. But in this circumstance, Firewall Dragon is causing so many problems in the game. Seriously, this card is creating the extra link combos for majority of decks. Like, currently the two decks were deck coming out this weekend that can perform the extra link combo with the greatest of ease is Danger Nightmare. I mean, sorry, not Danger Nightmare, Danger Dark Worlds, which can easily create extra link just because of Firewall. And the other one that is practically borderline tier 0 is Goki Nightmare, which honestly needs to be dealt with, and the best way to deal with this is with Firewall. So, by banning Firewall, you're taking away the ability to extra link your opponent, which is literally the biggest problem in the game currently, because with the extra link in general, you're just causing so many problems in the game that with the extra link, it's not fair whatsoever. So, honestly, hitting the extra link combo is really the smartest play that they could do through the Firewall, because by banning Firewall, you basically ban the extra link combo that a majority of people are doing currently. And sure, there might still be ways to extra link outside of the Firewall combo, but Firewall in general is the problem, and Firewall is the main reason this card needs to be banned, this combo is existing. So if you ban Firewall, you deal with the extra link all at once. Now, as I said, this might not happen. Konami might be thinking, no, this is our main protagonist card, we can't ban it. We've already limited it to try and appease the masses. But really, if they don't ban Firewall, there's going to be no way to stop the extra link combo. Seriously, this is the card that needs to be banned to deal with the extra link combo. But yeah, guys. Just those are the only two ban cards that I really have to talk about. Like, there's no other ban cards in the game that I feel like need to be banned. I don't feel like anything else needs to be banned, and I feel like everything is fine outside of that. But seeing as we've gone over the two ban cards, let's go into the limited cards, because there is a lot of them, and I feel like all of these cards have a right to be put on the limited list. So the first one, Harmonizing Magician. Ah! Why did I do this to myself? Now, I love magicians. I love them to bits, and I know that they're really strong. But if Konami don't do something to hit this deck again, the deck is going to keep building waves. And Harmonizing Magician is the one to hit. Now, Harmonizing Magician is the card that does all the plays. It's the main combo piece. Without it, the deck won't run. And limiting the card is probably the best way for them to go about it. Now, Magicians have almost won 2 different national events. They nearly won the UK Nationals, and they nearly won the American NWCQ. And seeing as these two decks were both, this deck was both able to make it to the finals, I doubt Konami haven't got this on their radar. So, thinking that Harmonizing Magician isn't going to be hit isn't a far stretch. Like, seriously, I could see this card being hit very easily. The card is very powerful, and without the card you can't get to your combo pieces. Sure, the deck will still be able to play without harmonizing, with harmonizing at 1 it will still be decently easy to get to thanks to stuff like Electromite and Pendulum Call. But if you limit the card to 1, it takes away 2 of the resources, and it means they have to go through more resources to get to said Harmonizing Magician, and it really does make sense to limit this card. Personally, I wouldn't touch the card at all because I don't want to lose it, but in the eyes of Konami, I feel like it's going to be limited to 1, just because it needs to slow down Magicians, which is something really big right now and really would need to happen. Next, we have Daigusto Emerald, from ban to limited. Now, I feel like Daigusto Emerald, it's time to come off the limited list, the ban list. Personally, I feel like, seeing as the Zodiac combo is dead, like no one's using it, seeing as Spiral are practically gone, I feel like the Daigusto Emerald is it's time to come back. The card wouldn't do very much in this format. Sure, they'll like majority of decks are more majority extra linking now, and they're doing plays to stop your opponent from playing the game. But Daigusto Emerald is just a late game resource that can allow you to recycle your materials. Now, I understand that there's still things that Daigusto Emerald could do to potentially do stupid things, but right now in the game, I feel like there's nothing Daigusto Emerald could do to actually break the game. Now, without Zodiac, the deck, it's fine, the card is great, the card won't do anything, and seeing as Zodiac are gone, the main reason why Daigusto Emerald was banned, it makes sense for the card to be able to be limited again. Now, obviously, this is a far stretch. Now, Konami left Lavalval Chain on there for a long time, but Lavalval Chain made sense. But Daigusto Emerald, in my personal opinion, I don't feel like it's necessary to be on the ban list. I don't think it needs to be banned. I feel like the card is very balanced, seeing as it has to seeing as it only puts cards from the graveyard back into the deck. And honestly, there's not a lot of decks in the format currently that could abuse this card. So, I feel like Daigusto Emerald could come back to 1 very easily. But yeah. Next, Terraforming to 1. What did you expect? This card is insane. This card gives you access to triple Light Stage. This card gives you access to triple Diagram. This card gives you access to any field spell in the game. This card at 3 is not fair. Reinforcements of the Army is at 1. Stratos is banned. Loads of searches are not allowed. And you think Terraforming should be at 3. No. Terraforming is one of the biggest problems in the game right now. Sure, it gives consistency to these lower decks that need to get to their field spell, but when you think about it, Terraforming is a generic search card that gives you access to any field spell in the game with ease. And seeing as you can search Diagram, Light Stage, and any other field spell that you want, and seeing as we're getting more decks that need to search their field spells, I could see this card easily getting limited. Now, sure, you guys are probably thinking that this card shouldn't be limited. The card helps the lower decks, but you've got to also take this into perspective. Terraforming is a card that generically searches any field spell in the game, and sure, it might not have been a problem when it first came out, but the field spells have been evolving over the years, and the more they evolve, the more powerful they get. And seeing as Terraforming is just the biggest generic searcher for field spells, and it's being ran in so many decks, literally, you see it in almost any deck that's top tier that plays a field spell. Like, it's insane how many decks actually run this card, and seeing as it's something that needs to be addressed, like, seriously, Terraforming is something that it needs to be addressed. I could easily see this card going to 1. Like, just because of the amount of field spells it can search and the amount of broken ones there are, I could easily see this card going from 3 to 1 very easily. Like, this is a card that needs to be up from 3 to 1. It really does, in my opinion. But yeah, Terraforming to 1 as well. Next, Scapegoat. Scapegoat needs to be at 1. Gopher's at 1. Gofi's banned. Grinder Golem's at 1. You need to limit this card. Or ban it. Just do something to it. But this card should not be allowed to be at 3. This card is one of the reasons Trickstar Sky Striker are so broken. Being able to one card link into a Borreload, into a Saruja, and get draws for that matter, and into anything you could think of is not fair. Literally, looking at it from these areas, looking at it from areas such as where Borreload is one of the most broken cards in the game, seeing as we're going to be getting Borrel's Sword soon, seeing as there's so many Link 4s that get generic advantage from Scapegoat, Scapegoat needs to go to 1. It's got so much utility in the game that literally the card needs to be at 1, and if you guys think it shouldn't be at 1, I'm sorry, but you're sadly mistaken. This card needs to be limited. being able to gain so much free advantage just by flipping a Scapegoat is not fair in the slightest. Like, this card has multiple utilities. It has utility in defense, which it wouldn't have if Starving Venom didn't get banned, but you know, whatever. Has utilities in defense. It has utilities as an attack card. It has utilities as just fodder. Like, honestly, this card is one of the most broken cards in the game right now, and I really hate how that is one of the most broken cards in the game, because it's basically GOAT format reignited in Trickstars, and that's something that I don't think should be allowed in the game, literally. Having a Scapegoat up free is something that shouldn't be allowed. It should have been addressed on the last list. But it didn't get addressed, and seeing as we're in a point where the card is just insane and it just does so much, it's the time for the card to go to 1. It really is the time for this card to go to 1. It needs to be taken out, and it just needs to be, I'm sorry sheep, but you need to be eaten by the wolves. You need to be eaten by the wolves, sheep. At least 4 of you. One of you can stay. Yeah, the other 3 can go away. But literally, this needs to happen to balance out the game, so hopefully this will happen and Konami will actually have some sense, you know, because they don't seem to have that a lot. Not a lot, but yeah. Next, Hornet drones. This simply needs to be addressed because Trickstar Sky Striker needs to be hitting away. It takes away 2 of their means to get to their link monsters for a quick play means. It hits Goki in a way, taking away 2 of their warrior monsters very easily. It just gets rid of a generic token spammer that does a lot, and it takes away a 1 card to link 2 combo, which needs to happen as well. So taking away Hornet drones is quite obvious. Like, it's a hit to quite a few decks, taking away an easy link 2, taking away taking away a Goki piece that lets them get into a Soul Day a lot easier, taking away a card from the Sky Striker deck that just takes away more of their utility to go into their link monsters. It makes sense to hit this card to 1 just because it's a card that just gives you a lot of free advantage for no reason at all, and it does make sense for this card to go from 3 to 1. Literally, there's no reason for this card not to go to 1. It's just a free link 2 majority of the times, and in other decks they just abuse it. So in Goki it's abused, in Sky Striker in general it's used how it should be used, but it's another way to abuse the card. So I could see this card going from 3 to 1 very easily as well, from Konami's eyes. And the final card that's going to be limited in my opinion is Trickstar Reincarnation. Yes, I think Lycris is going to get banned and Reincarnation is going to 1 on the same list. And before you say no it's not, hear me out. Draw hand loop. Yep, draw hand loop. Simple. This card gives the deck a single way to empty your opponent's entire hand without any issues whatsoever. And that isn't fair. And seeing as that's a thing, it needs to go to 1. Also, guess what else? It's searchable, very searchable through Cantina, which is another reason why it needs to go to 1, because if you can search 2, then you're hand looping your opponent, which isn't fair. Plus, if you have the Lycris on board, you're also dealing them, let's see, 12, 14, 28 damage for 2, and you're also giving your opponent 0 cards in hand. Sound fair, doesn't it? Also, the card is a monster reborn from grave. Why do you need to be explained to why this card needs to be at 1? This card says, I banish my opponent's entire hand. I can draw and combo them to stop them from drawing those cards. I can be searched through Trickstar Cantina very easily, and I'm a monster reborn. This card needs to go to 1. Simple as. Next card. But yeah, Trickstar Reincarnation just needs to go to 1 just because it's a very degenerate card in the Trickstar deck, and hitting this will will basically put the deck in a position where they can't play as much. Now, obviously, they might not hit the Lycris, they might only hit Lycris, or they might only hit Reincarnation, but as long as one of them gets hit, it's fine. Escape Group definitely needs to go to 1. But yeah, The Trickstar Reincarnation is definitely a card that needs to go to 1. The fact that it's a monster reborn, the fact that it can banish your opponent's entire hand, and if you have the draw along with it, which is very easy because you're playing at a 3 in the deck, it's something that needs to be dealt with. So, free Reincarnation, nope, needs to go to 1. But yeah, that's all the cards I have for Limited. I don't really think there's anything else that will be limited this format. Everything on this list, everything here, I believe is fine where it is. I don't feel like they're going to limit anything else. I feel like everything else is in the game is fine currently. If they do limit something, who knows? They could limit it for some reason that I didn't mention. Like, I don't know, but this is basically what I think will be limited as well. But yeah, for my semi-limited section, I feel like Book of Moon is going to be semi-limited. Card's been on the list for God knows how many years at 1. The card doesn't need to be at 1. The card shouldn't be at 1 really. It won't do a lot in this format. It may be used to disrupt a link combo at best, but outside of that, there's nothing the card really does. So going from 2 to 1 would be very easy for the card, and I can't really see the card being up at 1 any longer. Like, the card doesn't need to be at 1. It could be at 2 very easily. So yeah, Book of Moon to 1. That's all I have for semi-limited. I don't really see anything else getting semi-limited this format. So yeah, and for unlimited, cards that I feel like will go from anywhere on the list to free. First, Four-Mage Damage Juggler. The card has done literally nothing outside of maybe 60 card Light Swans to search a Damage Juggler. No, sorry, to search a Hat Trigger. And outside of that, the card's done nothing. So I feel like this card could easily go from 1 to 3. Like, there's no reason for it to be, there's no reason for it to be a 1. Really, there isn't any reason. It's doing nothing in the game, and the best thing it's ever done is negate a Wavering Eyes. So no need for the card to be at 1 any longer. Next, Maxi. I think it will go to 3. This card needs to be at 3. Basically, Maxi needs to go to 3 purely because the card stops a lot of degeneracy. Look at Goki Nightmare. If you Maxi your opponent, they're normally they will probably stop or go to an route where you won't get as many draws. If look at Goki, look at Trickstar, no, not Trickstar Sky Strikers. Look at any deck that creates an extra link. Any deck that can create an extra link. You activate Maxi, they're not going to go far. They're going to stop. They're not going to go into their full extra link because they're going to give you so many resources. And Maxi is a card that basically inherently checks these degenerate decks that go through tons of special summon combos, go through all these different things to essentially stop your opponent from being able to play the game. And sure, if they do carry on, they'll give you tons of draws, but guess what? Even if they give you tons of draws, you could draw into a hand trap to stop them, another hand trap, such as Ash Blossom or Draw and Lockbird, which sure will stop you from drawing cards, but could inherently stop that combo. And also there's ways to stop Maxi in the game now. There's stuff like Ash Blossom, there's stuff like Strike, there's stuff like, there's so many ways to just stop a Maxi now. And there's Gamma as well, even though that's a garbage card in my opinion, but there's so many ways to stop Maxi now that I could actually easily see Maxi going from 0 to 3. And also, the card should never be at 1. The card should never be at 1 or 2. The card should either go from banned to free or just stay banned. I feel like it should go from banned to free. It shouldn't be in between. But yeah, personally, I feel like this card can come back to free now. It makes sense for the card to come back, seeing as there's so much degeneracy running around through special summon mechanics such as the Nightmares. And it really does need to come back to check these decks that are doing a lot of bull crap. But yeah, Maxi to free. And finally, Ring of Destruction. Same reason as Damage Juggler. It's done nothing in the game, really. It's done nothing to memorable, it's done nothing to anyone, and honestly, the card can easily come back to free without any issues, seeing as the card hasn't done anything now, and even with its errata, it can't cause any draws, and it can't do anything outside of that. So I feel like Ring of Destruction is a card that can easily come back to free, just because it's not doing anything. It doesn't need to be banned, and yeah, I can see it coming back to free. But guys, that's my ban list prediction. This is everything that I feel like will happen on the list. I personally feel like a lot of these changes will happen, like Firewall, it's a possibility. It's either that or a Sold, but I definitely feel like Firewall is the way to go about it because it stops so many other combos. Lycris or Reincarnation, at least one of those has to happen, or both. I feel like both could happen, but one of them has to at least happen. And obviously Maxi and like stuff like Harmonizing Magician needs to happen as well to check Magicians. Scapegoat definitely needs to happen. It needs to die. It's just doing too much in the game. And Maxi, it needs to come back to deal with all of these problems. But guys, that's the video. If you thought any of my predictions were wrong, or if you had any predictions that you thought were right, or I just didn't mention, tell me those in the comment section below, and maybe I'll do a Konami Fix the Badness segment on it, because I'm not perfect. I will miss things, and if I personally feel like I did miss something, I will normally do a Konami Fix the Ban list to put my opinion forward even more. Like, I might even do some on these to go further in detail to them and just tell you why these things need to happen more. So look out for those. Tell me anything like that in the comment section below if I missed anything, if you think something's different, or if you think some of these cards shouldn't be hit. If you liked the video though, and you want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh videos like this, through like Konami Fix the Ban list segments or anything like that, don't forget to press the like button to show that you enjoyed it. If you want to see more future Yu-Gi-Oh videos from me coming in later in the game, later in the channel, don't forget to press the subscribe button to get those new subscription box. And if you want to see more Yu-Gi-Oh videos from me in general, don't forget to press the notification button to be notified of any of those future Yu-Gi-Oh videos or streams that I do down the line. But yeah guys, that's the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as I said, and please, Konami, ban Firewall. It fixes so much. Later, guys. Robot1, signing out. Thanks for watching, guys, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on this video for more Yu-Gi-Oh videos, and check out the links in the description for the previous video, and the link to my Facebook page where you can see previous videos that I've posted there, and any other information that I may have posted there. I hope to see you guys next time, and thanks for watching.